Hey there you guys, welcome back. Let's do an update in the backyard. We just did a front yard update. Might as well just continue the trend. And in the back you'll see the Enset Venison? I don't know how to say it. I need to read it every time. Muriae, the red Abyssinian banana, I believe. It's doing beautifully, and it's about 6.5 feet tall, maybe a little taller. I don't know. It's just over the top of the fence now. We've got another month, I guess, of growing, so it'll get pretty good size. The nighttime temperatures, though, are starting to get a little bit cooler, so its growth rate. Well, I can't talk. Its growth rate will slow significantly. So yeah, without further ado, let's just check it out. So here we go. Here's the yard. This is the big plumeria that was up by the house, but now it's growing right here against the fence. Let's get away. There's the Thailand giant, looking pretty big. Still, it never seems to get as big as I can't even get the whole thing in frame. There's my hand on the leaf. My hand looks teeny. I would say that's at least 3 feet long. I would say getting closer to 4. And yeah, it's doing well. I've got a bunch of babies that are in there, and we've got all kinds of flowers in there as well. I love the flowers on these guys. I try to cut them off wherever possible because I don't want them to put the growth into blooms. I want them to put the growth into leaves, as you can understand. Seeds are very difficult to germinate from them, so I don't even want to bother trying. In the back there is the clematis. It's pretty well finished for the season, and down underneath, I don't know whether you can see it, but there's a couple of blooms down there. Here we have a voodoo lily. This one is I can't say I don't know the name. It's a typical one, and it comes back year after year. I always assume that it's dead, and it always comes back. This one I think is hardy to zone 5, maybe 6. It doesn't like it moist, and it's very moist in this spot. I've got the slipper orchid here. This is the one that we bought 2 years ago. This is Cypripedium kentuckiense, or kentuckiensis, and it needs to get fertilized with some acid fertilizer, just to get the green back in the leaves. It likes acid soil for sure, and it likes sandy situations where my situation is mostly clay. So back in the day we dug a pit and made sure that it was full of sandy soil. So hopefully it will survive. Under here, this is the Empress Wu Hosta, and it grew much bigger than I thought it was going to this year. Again, I bought this Hosta not necessarily because I had space, but because I'm a fool, and and I like plants that get really, really large, and I know that I don't have the space for it right now. It's competing with the Thailand giant. In the spring, it was outgrowing the Thailand giant, but now the giant is well over this one. This is supposed to get to be about 5 feet tall and about 9 feet across, and when I move to a bigger space, this is coming with me, and I hope to get several years of growth out of it prior to the move. So yeah, hopefully I can take a mature plant with me and start big. Go big or go home. So this is just a temporary home, hopefully, for him. And I've got my collection here of mouse ear hostas. This is blue mouse ears, and then off to the side here I have frosted mouse ears. I can never really tell the difference. I think that frosted mouse ears actually has a little bit of white between the light green and the dark green. It's a little bit of a white in there. And then, and then we got Mighty Mouse behind this bloody dandelion. I need to give things a little bit more space. Do you see him there? That one's Mighty Mouse. There's quite a number of hostas in the mouse ear family, or grouping, and I want to get them all. This is Apple Teeny, another variety of dwarf hosta. Really like the dwarf hostas, mostly because I can have probably 50 or 60 of them in this backyard and you wouldn't really know. And since I have a problem, you can understand why I would like that. And then we've got this beautiful begonia. I believe this is a type of escargot begonia. And you'll know just by the whirl of the leaf, it's like a snail shell, like a little escargot. And it's doing beautifully in this spot. It's an annual, so I'll either have to dig it up and bring it inside, or I'll just let the frost take it, and that's probably what's going to happen. I don't have the space inside, and they're very inexpensive. I'll start fresh next year. I do want to make a video though on how to propagate these by leaf cuttings. That's a really fun process, so I still might do that before the end of the season. We've got another Hosta here. I can't remember the variety, but notice all the damage to the leaves. This is slug, and yeah, slug and snail, same thing, both crazy and bad. I thought I had a tag in here. This one's Emerald Tiara. Emerald Tiara. Back in the back, I know that we keep saying that we're going to do an update on this boxwood bonsai, but I never seem to get around to it. Poor thing has been so neglected. It's got some weeds growing in the pot, as you can see right here. The poor thing. So back to this plumeria. It's been in bloom, and there's inflows all over the place starting. I've got an inflow starting up here. I don't know whether you can see it, but a little baby broccoli by my finger. But there's 2 or 3 stems here that are starting to do inflows, and I'm very excited about that. And another flower shot here. In the back here I have the scented geranium. This one is lemon scented, not to be mistaken by the citronella. This one here is just a beautiful crisp lemon smell. It's so nice. I've talked about it many times in the past. And then I've got verbena growing in the pot. I love the verbenas this year. And over here against the house, this is the Amorphophallus konjac. And this here, I wish I could stand beside it. But the plant is now about 3 feet tall. This is the main plant that flowered this year, the tall part. And it's doing nice. After I did the update video the last time, it just shot right up. Like within 3 days, it was up and out, and it was amazing how fast they can grow if they want to. And then over here we have the Borneo giant. Sorry for my shaky fingers. Got Borneo giant right here. It's not looking as limp as it did in the initial video. That video was the day that I purchased it, and it was really having a tough time just coming away from the garden center, where it was probably a little bit neglected, and it was very dry in the pot. I will end up removing this leaf. This leaf is burnt and kind of gross, so this leaf will come off. And we've got a new leaf here started, and we've got this leaf here that it's starting to yellow as well. This is the next oldest leaf. And I'll take this off. This was at the garden center. This was a leaf that has grown for me. Actually, no, this one was the one that looked limp in the video. It was the newest leaf. And now this one is the newest leaf growing under my care. So hopefully it makes a change for the better. I've been fertilizing it like crazy. This is a pixie grape. There will be a video on this coming very, very soon with me potting it up into this pot. So I'm not going to give you a lot of information about it, but this is the pixie grape. It's really cute. It's a mutation of a wine grape, and it only gets very small. And we've got over here, we've got plumerias like crazy. These plumerias in the pots on the patio are probably going to not stay here very much longer. I'm waiting for the flower spikes to open. I've got inflows here, and I have a feeling they're all the same color. And if that's the case, I don't have space for all the same color plumeria. They get big, so I'll end up keeping the big one, and then all of the younger plants that are of the same color are going to find new homes. And here is the bougainvillea. I just got back from a vacation recently, and we set up the sprinkler to come on every every day, twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening, for a half hour. And I don't think it was getting enough water. I was only gone for 5 days, but in my absence, most of the leaves fell off. But it's a bougainvillea, and they tolerate dry conditions quite well, so I'm not really worried. It will send out new growth and new flowers and look beautiful in no time. Right now you can see through it. When I left, you couldn't. So again, in the pots here, I have verbena. I did have some coffea, but I removed all those. They started to look a little bit sad. And then, as usual, I have the Million Bells petunias. I haven't done a lot of maintenance on these, and that's why they look a little crummy. But I'll come through here and I'll just trim them up after the video and get them back into a nice shape for September. And let's go back down to the garden. Look at that verbena. That verbena is beautiful. And look at that Million Bells petunia. That's gorgeous. And this banana, this is the one that we took the baby off, and it's growing like crazy. You wouldn't even know that I took babies off because look at the size of the babies now. If I wanted to get this to fruit, I would try removing all of the suckers, so it only sent the energy up to the main parent plant, and that's when they will start to mature. Right now, it's pushing all of its energy into those babies. And also fertilization. They are fertilizer hogs. Remember that. So back around. Here is my Vanda. The Vanda, the leaves are starting to get thicker near the top. And I water this with the sprinkler. I put it on mist. And I water it. I try to water it every day. As you can see, we got the nice green growth going on the roots there. All the tips are growing actively. I do stick it in a bucket of water for 10 or 15 minutes. I would say at least once a week, but I do give it a really good spray with the hose every day, maybe even twice a day. And behind it, we've got this Rinco stylus. I want to get it out of this pot. I want to get it into either a wood pot, a slat pot, or maybe I'll do a moss ball out of it. I'm not sure. There's no spikes going on. I keep looking. It is a mature size. It was in spike when I bought it. It was actually just finishing flowering, but it hasn't really done very much. And I do have some nice green tips on those roots. But it does like being outside. This one doesn't seem to grow as much as the Vanda does, though. The Vanda really has taken off being outside. Lots of hostas. This one here, I will probably end up digging this one out. Look at all the damage in here. And they recommend like copper or eggshells or anything like that, but you need to really keep applying that. And after rain with the diatomaceous earth, it goes into the soil, so you got to reapply. I'm just going to go with the hostas that are more resistant to this stuff. And you'll find hostas that are much thicker leaves. This one is a thin leaf one. You'll notice that those ones are more susceptible to insects putting holes in them than the thicker ones, the big blue ones. Or you'll know, like a Summon Substance has like a rubbery feel to them. Those ones don't get eaten as badly as the thin leaf ones. So I also have some European ginger down here. For some reason this year the European ginger is not looking good. It looked good, looked fantastic the years past, and they'd be beautiful clumps of glossy green leaves, and now they're just sad. Look at how sad that is. I'll have to check it out. Maybe I need to fertilize a little bit more. Maybe I need to fertilize less. I'm not sure. I'll do a little bit of research on those ones. I've never had a problem with them before. They just were fabulous. So this is a new one. This is an agave perii. I think so, perii. And it's supposed to be hardy to my zone. It's supposed to be hardy to zone 6B. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it with a styrofoam rose cone and insulate it well. And not insulate it well, but just give it some cover. We're going to try to keep it dry over the winter. And I believe there's an offset. So if it doesn't survive, I will take the little offset off in the fall and try it again next year. And then I bought another rose here. The rose is, that one is pink, but it's got a slight fragrance to it. And I really wanted mini roses that had fragrance. There was in here perennial bachelor buttons, and there was a evening primrose, and there was some other stuff in here that just looked really weedy, and I needed to get it out to make the garden look a little bit more clean. And so this is what you see here, a little revamp. And we've got the trilliums. They never looked very good but in the fall. But in the springtime, they're beautiful. This one is a red flower. And here are the baskets. They're looking really nice. I need to get back in here and prune again. As you can see, this is what you want to try to avoid when you're maintaining your baskets. See how it's kind of hollow at the top and it's all growing down just a little bit farther? That's what you want to avoid. So if you cut this section, if you cut this section off, it'll force the growth up. So you'll get rid of it so that they would look like these pink ones. You want them to be nice and tight into the pot. And we got the nice verbena in there. And that coleus is stunning. I really like that. Fishnet stockings. Then we have this full moon Hosta. Hosta. I think it's full moon, or I can't remember. A Japanese maple. It's really, really nice. Please correct me. Give me the name down below. I always get it mixed up with my August moon Hosta. I think it's half moon or full moon. And it looks beautiful. And then down in the bottom we've got the lamb's ears. I cut the flowers off of the lamb's ears because they start to look dirty when they start to bloom. They stretch tall and then they kind of topple over. The blooms are really neat because they're pink and blue, if I can remember, but they're just not pretty when they bloom. Down here we have lilies. The lily beetles have been out and feasting on these. They were nice. Those ones are lollipops, so they're pink and white. And then down in the bottom here we've got the gentiane. It's looking so good. I love gentiane. It's been in bloom for a while, and now the blooms are starting to fade. But all in all, I'm so happy with that plant. I want it more places. It kind of rambles around and does its own thing. Has a mind of its own. And then we have gazanias in the garden as annuals, and on a sunny day they open up. This one's just starting to open up now. They're really pretty and vibrant, and they're daisy-like, and they're just gorgeous. In the back we have a iris. This is a Siberian iris. I dug most of it out of the garden last year, and I was going to do the same again. Like, I was going to get rid of it completely, but I really like the blooms. But in the fall, I hate it. I hate the way that it falls over, and it just looks unruly. I'll probably end up cutting it down to the ground and just living with the little stems, the stumps, as it were, because I just don't like how messy it looks. And we've got a little type of creeping sedum here, and then it's overwhelming. Sorry, I'm getting older. I can't bend down without making strange noises. I'm sure a lot of you can relate. This is Hope, this little hosta. Love the dwarf hostas. And this is a seedling of the geranium that I have. It's called Bevan, I think. Bevans, which is my last name. And you need to have a namesake in your garden. If you can find a plant that has your name or something relating to you, it's so much fun to grow. And then over here we have some campanula. These ones are white clips, I believe. Really, really pretty. They flower almost non-stop from about midsummer or even early summer till almost frost. And if you cut off the old blooms, you'll know a spent flower, and just remove those. Come through with some clippers and just trim it back when it starts to slow down, and then it will send out new growth, and then it should send out more flowers as well. So a really, really fun one to grow. We've got some volunteer Johnny Jump Ups over here. Really cute. I haven't pulled those out because I really enjoy them. You find those all over the garden eventually. Somebody in my neighborhood must have planted some because I haven't. But a welcome little friend. Here's the bigger version of the hardy geranium. I don't have any flowers that are out, open right now, but there's a bud later on today that will be out, and they're so pretty, so vibrant. And then this is Pandora's box, daylily. It's supposed to be an ever blooming, and as you can see, it is not ever blooming. I have one spike that has a bud on it, but that's it for now. But it's supposed to be a rebloomer, and a little disappointed. The flower is pretty. I like it. I might end up getting rid of it because I want to have constant bloom. I don't want to have something that takes up space and doesn't do what it's supposed to do. And then here we've got the other basket. Wow, this is a long-winded video. I apologize, you guys. The basket is doing beautifully, and we've got the silver falls doing their thing. Remember how we cut a little bit off the tips to make it a little bit more full, and look at how full that is. It's beautiful. It's like Rapunzel's hair. Over here we have the big banana. It's doing beautifully. Oh my goodness. It's over the fence now. It is looking beautiful. I think, well, it's taller than me. I'm going to say it's about 7 feet tall. It's a little over the fence. And yeah, I'm really, really ecstatic with this one this year. Down below there, we have the roses. This one is doing beautifully. It had a first flush in the early summer, and now it's getting another flush. We trimmed off all of the, or maybe you weren't around, but I trimmed off all of the old spent flowers, and it's producing another flush for me. And then over here we've got the pink one, and it's starting to come back into bud again. Same thing. It kind of reached its peak, and then I chopped it back, and now it's starting to produce buds again. Down here we have the little Tradescantia, spiderwort. I cut this one back. It got really unruly. After a while in the season, the flowers just start to fade, and it doesn't look as pretty. And so yeah, I cut it back, and now it's getting a flush of new growth. I have a feeling I'm going to take it out of this spot. I don't really like it in here anymore. I'm going to try something else, I think. And then behind it we have the August Moon Hosta. I was going to do a transplant video of this, but then things got a little bit too late and to upload it, and I just haven't. So it's transplanted really, really nicely, and it will get shaded by the banana. This is its first season after transplant, and this one is a nice one. It's not really susceptible to slug damage. There is a little bit of damage, but in comparison to other hostas in the backyard, it's not so bad. And then over here we have the Dahlia section. We have this, it's Choco something. It's a cactus type Dahlia. Really, really pretty. I like that one a lot. For some reason, they're not looking so great. They did look much more beautiful earlier on. There's a nice one. I gotta go through here in Deadhead. And here is a gruesome, gruesome spider. Look at the size of that. Just thought I'd share that with you. And here's the one like at the community garden plot. This one was supposed to be orange with white tips, but it's not. It's a dinner plate dahlia, or they say it is a dinner plate dahlia. It's still quite beautiful. We'll see if I'm going to grow it next year or not. Time will tell. I want to have something that I really, really want. This one tends to have this cluster in the center. It's kind of an imperfect flower, but it's still gorgeous, and it's about 6 feet tall. It's at eye level with me. These top flowers here. Back there we have the nepenthes. It's doing okay. I keep forgetting to water it, so it does go dry, but it seems to be really tolerant. It's a really good one. And then this dahlia here, this one's called Smarty, and it's a really fun one. But to be quite honest with you, during the time when Japanese beetles are out, this plant looks terrible. The leaves are beautiful, but the flowers are never complete, and it's just really sad to look at. But right now they're starting to look nicer, so I'll probably end up getting rid of this one this fall, and tossing it out and trying something new. I do like it if the flowers would start off nice from the get-go. I've waited all season and they've just looked all ragged and yucky. But again, now they're quite lovely, and I like this one because look at this one. It's got the red or the burgundy and white, and then this one's all white, and then this one here is half and half. It's just so unique, and that's why I love it. But again, if the flowers aren't going to be showy for the whole life of it, then it's really not worth my time. But again, I'll make up that decision a little bit later on. It's still too early to tell. Then over here we have the elephant ear. This is the Alocasia macrorrhiza that we transplanted into the purple pot. You saw that video, I'm sure. No real growth has happened yet, but it might just be trying to adjust to its new home. And then down here we have a beautiful gardenia. For those of you who try to grow gardenia but can't, they like a really acidic soil. I think it needs to be down into the 4.5 or 5 pH range. and they need to be watered very frequently. The soil needs to be constantly moist. And here is the rack. I'm not going to go through every item on this rack, but things are growing really, really well. We've got the agaves on either side. This is the date palm. We've got a mixed cactus planter up here, or succulent and cactus. And then I'm not sure what this is called. I think this is called silver spoon or something spoon, copper spoon. And then I've got this here. This is in the mimosa family. A type of pea shrub of some sort. Here's the label. I hope it'll come in. There we go. Albizia. Supposedly it's really, really nice. It's got a nice plumy flower. Down here I have, it's a type of, I want to say Stapelia, but it's not a Stapelia, but it is a lifesaver plant. It's got a very similar flower to a Stapelia. What else do they call it? Starfish flower. And then here's a Stapelia gigantea. This has done really, really well since I brought it outside. But yeah, I'm looking forward to bring it back inside. I hope that next year I get some flowers off of it. This was cutting not long ago. Well, last year I guess I got it. And then there's other mixed succulents down in there. Here is a living stone. When I grow the living stone outside, it gets watered with everything else, so it gets watered really, really frequently when it's out in the sun, and it's done beautifully. There's another agave. I thought it was going to do a flower spike, but it looks like it's just gotten spindly. And then over here we have the quad color. And then we've got this cymbidium. This cymbidium is a beautiful, beautiful cymbidium. I'm going to leave it outside until almost frost and see what happens. It needs to set its bud. And then we've got, what is this one called? It's an arum lily of sorts. I can't think of it. Anyway, if you know what it is, Arum italicum, I believe. Quick look here at the Millennium Magic Witchcraft and some other things back in here. The zebra plant, we got a ficus over here, we've got the seedling Magnolia grandifolia or grandiflora. This little jewel orchid, the Goodyear pubescens, it doesn't look like it's surviving. It really hates it outside for some reason. It grew much better inside. And then down here we have some agapanthus. This agapanthus was growing in the garden last year and it didn't flower at all this season. I think it needs to have some sort of a winter rest. And this year I'm just going to put it in the garage, not going to water it, it's going to go completely dry and dormant. So we'll see what happens next year. If it dies, it dies. If it survives, fantastic. Hopefully it blooms. And then I've got a mixture of cattleyas over here and an abutilon. Yeah, the cattleyas, and I've got miniature phalaenopsis is over here. Phalaenopsi, I don't know what you want to call it. So anyway, this video has been overlong. It's really taken a long time. Overlong, is that even a word? Bill, my goodness. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this update. If there's anything that you saw in the video, tell me the time that if you saw anything in the video that you are interested in knowing a little bit more about, just tell me the time that it was shown in the video, and I'll try to do a little bit of a recap. I know that some stuff I just went over very quickly, and maybe you saw something that you'd like to know a little bit more information about. Anyway, until next time, happy growing, everyone. Off to the side here, I don't know whether it's going to show up there on camera. I'll take a photo of it. And I believe this is a flower spike that's starting on this particular pseudobulb. And that's the only one that I have so far.